It might sound a bit silly for me to say you need to understand your product, but having a clear understanding of what you're selling and what, if any, competition you have in the marketplace will go a long way in ensuring your success. These questions and their answers will help you prepare product descriptions and marketing materials for the web to increase the chances of your customers finding, sharing, and buying your products instead of a product from your competition. The first thing to ask yourself is, what is the value of my product? I'm not talking about the dollar value here. I'm talking about what is the value for your customer. How does your product impact the life of your customer, and what problem does it solve, or how does it improve the life of your customer? If you answer these questions in your product descriptions and in your marketing materials, you are more likely to get customers simply because when people use the web, they're usually asking questions, saying things like, hey, I have this problem, I need it solved, or how do I get something? By asking and answering these questions in your product descriptions and marketing materials, you are more likely to get hits from search, and you're more likely to see people come in from social sharing sites like Facebook and Twitter because people often ask their friends these types of questions. When you're describing your product, or if you're developing new products, try to approach it like the music industry. Use the first, best, or different principle to look at how to differentiate your product from your competition. All products should be either first, best, or different, and ideally you want any product to be all three. If you are the first to do something, you should say so. Make a point out of being the first. If you are the best, it's important that you explain why you are the best and what differentiates you. You should do this in a way that doesn't put down your competition, but elevates your product. And of course, if you are the first, you also have to make sure to be the best, because anytime you invent something, someone else will try to emulate you and do the same thing. And then it's important that people understand that since you are the first, you're also the best. The last part, different, is a bit of a challenge, but it's also important, because by differentiating you from your competition, people will see that there's value in your product because you're not the same as everyone else. Figuring out the dollar value of your product can be a bit of a challenge, especially when you're selling things online, because you're now competing in a global environment and there will always be people out there who will try to undercut you. Anything you make, someone else will try to make and sell at a cheaper price. You have to figure out what the value is for you. By that I mean how much you have to sell a product for so that you end up earning money. And then you have to figure out how much your target audience is willing to pay. That means you have to figure out who your target audience is and how much they're willing to spend on a product that they're buying online. That way you can find a balancing point between what you need to earn and what they're willing to pay for it, and then set the price there. The most important thing here is to not either undervalue or overvalue your product. If you set the price too low, since it's sold online and people can't really see it in front of them, they will assume that it's a cheap product that they don't want to buy. If you set it too high, they'll just feel like they're being ripped off. So finding the balance point is important. Like I said, if you're selling products online, your competition is the rest of the world. So there's no point trying to find every single competitor. Instead, try to look at who is your direct competition. Define your target market and then figure out where they are going to buy whatever product type you are selling. That way, you'll be able to target your specific competitors and figure out what they're doing. Once you know what they're doing, try to not emulate what they're doing, improve on the experience for your customer, either by adding better descriptions or better photos of your products, changing your interface on your website so that people have an easier time finding your products, or making it easier for people to share your products online. Finally, consider selling your product in other venues in addition to your online store. This can be extremely effective in reaching people you would never reach online, because no matter how important e-commerce is getting, there are a lot of people who will never buy content from the internet. They will only buy products they can see in front of them. Other venues could include adding your product to a store, so a store is actually selling your product in real life, or it could be getting a booth at a fair or a market and sell your products there. Many t-shirt printing companies that sell online also sell their products at markets and fairs because then they can sell them directly to people. They don't have to pay for the shipping, and they can charge more at the fair than they can in the online store. Just remember, if you are selling your product in real life, make sure to include the web address for your online store so that when people buy it, they can go to your website afterwards and buy more products, or they can share the website with their friends. Because if you're selling something really cool and people buy it, their friends will want to buy it too. And by giving them the web address to your store, all their friends will be driven to your online store. Understanding your product and how it fits into the market and the life of your customer will help you reach your customer more easily and hopefully help you sell more of your products.